Hello everyone, trying something a little different today. Um, Trying some new audio stuff, see if you hear me any better. It's a little soft on the other one, but I don't know, this I think might sound a little tinny, but try this, got to get a decent mic, but I'll get that soon. Sorry about that. I'm going to get Bluegill. Got a request for that from someone. If you don't know what a Bluegill is, and this I did 13 years ago. It's a pretty simple one back then. Um, I'm actually doing a sketch for watercolor. Normally on something like the acrylic painting, I'll sometimes even paint right on the canvas or sketch right on the canvas. But this with the watercolor, I've got to do a pre-sketch, and I usually do for the acrylics too. But then I transfer it onto the paper for the watercolor painting and do it there because you don't want a bunch of scribbling all over. Some people can do it. I can't. Just draw something and make it be. And I have on a monitor over here, I have some Bluegill pictures and stuff that I'll go between and try to keep stuff fairly accurate. But I'm not doing photorealistic stuff. I'm not worried about that. I just want it to look good and kind of catch what I think it looks like, which isn't always the real thing. But we'll see where it ends up. And haven't sketched on video before, so who knows how this is gonna go. I do a lot of racing, and you kind of just try to get the basics down first, and then you kind of go from there. I want every line to be perfect right away. There's erasers, and don't even have to worry about that a lot of times. Just change what it is and pick out the lines you like. Gonna talk a little bit more about my rheumatoid arthritis today while I'm doing this. It had been sleeping pretty good lately, but last night, I kind of felt it like when I was getting into bed and stuff that I probably was going to be a little sore at some point because it just, I don't know, you can just feel the difference in what it's feeling like at that time. And so, yeah, at 10, 11 o'clock, it wasn't bad, just a little soreness in my shoulder and in my wrist here. And it just couldn't get it comfortable really, but about 4 in the morning, I woke up and it was pretty sore. So unfortunately, I think the medication is helping, so hopefully that keeps getting better and better. But it takes a little bit for that to get working properly. And yeah, It kind of really ruins when you think you're sleeping good and you get a lot of the way through the night, and then all of a sudden it just bam, you're awake and can't get comfortable. And usually I can sit up and kind of let my arms hang and kind of stretch out a little bit, and it gets better. Don't know what other people do with that's what they can do, or took some Tylenol at that time too, along with some other stuff I'd taken earlier in the evening because I knew it was going to probably happen. Really don't want to take too much for pain relief, but I like to sleep a little. So that's where it ends up. So if anybody else out there has it that's watching this, how often do you have that just come on? And I'm hoping it's something that goes away as we get the treatment figured out. Just basic shape of a bluegill. Yeah, I got a couple things wrong already, but we'll get that corrected. That's why I don't do it directly onto the paper. I don't mind making my bluegills look a little angry because I think bluegills are a little angry. If you've ever been fishing for them, you know they're a lot of fun to catch because they just go like crazy. Whole bottom, that's the bottom jaw just bothered me as I sit here. What else? My blood tests at least came back good yesterday, or at least what I think is. I haven't heard from the doctor yet, but nothing seemed too wacky for what I could look at the tests and see. I don't know if that's always a good thing or a bad thing to see everything that the tests say before the doctors can have a chance to even tell you. Still don't like that too well. This may change a lot by the time I'm done. It does not have to stay exactly the same and be perfect right away. If it does, boy, I'm a big failure at this. I don't think I'm that bad. Fish I can do better than dogs usually. It does help that I've been around a lot of bluegills in my life. tough doing sometimes painting fish that you've never actually held in your hand and seen. Even with dogs, it's easier ones that you've actually known. Get closer. Excuse me. Yeah, it looks better. I think that's too long. I had to concentrate there for a second, trying to get some stuff in the right spot so it doesn't look too weird. Oh, what else has been? Yeah, it's still kind of dealing with the just the thoughts of kind of a lifelong diagnosis. Even if you get into remission, which they say is kind of the goal with rheumatoid arthritis now, that the treatment should get you pretty close. That you shouldn't feel much symptoms, be able to do most things that you want to do, but you still have to, you're probably going to be on medication. You might have to alter your diet a little bit, that kind of, I mean, there's just certain things you got to do. It's thinking about that isn't always the greatest thing. I wouldn't say I'm an active person as far as physically. I move a lot. I walk. I ride bike. And try to work out some. But I'm not active like I'm going around and traveling. And we'll get into that someday. That I'm a pretty reclusive person, we shall say, for now. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can see some things that make it tough to be around a lot of people. I've never been real comfortable. There, like that. They sometimes have, bluegills have like wrinkles and bulges on their forehead. They can be very chunky little fish. Yeah, I'm not a big people person, but I'm trying to get better at that. That's part of this. Right now, I don't want to go into too many of those reasons for that, but someday we will. Remember, June is Men's Mental Health Month, I guess. I saw something about that. And anybody watching this that has, you know, I don't want to say problems, has concerns, has had to alter their life because of things that they feel, or depression, anxiety, I really hope you will, seek out some help, be it family, friends, you know. I'll tell you, like, visiting with a therapist, you may think is something you never want to do, something you just couldn't imagine opening up to someone. It's almost easier somebody you don't have that family connection to, or that lifelong friendship type of thing. It isn't as difficult as you think, and it can feel much better than you would think it could. You know, it's, I mean, I'm not saying it's not difficult yet. Yeah, but, be aware of your own feelings and make sure and help yourself. Nobody else is gonna. I've learned that. You gotta take that first step. And I just forget how many spines are on a bluegill. Okay, so racing. Kind of goofed up. It's a good thing about just the sketch. If I did this right on the watercolor paper, it would be such a mess by the time I got done. Couldn't paint it, so you'd have to do it over on this other piece. So that's why I do it separate. I know there's some that can. I am not one of I don't care too much if this is exact. I just want a basic, really good outline of it. And it's, you know, I do pretty much flat portraits. They're almost like, oh, identification things, something you'd see in a book to identify a fish. I don't, occasionally I'll do one that has more animation to it and stuff, but that's not real common. My brain doesn't always want to work in that kind of fashion to see all the angles and different, you know, things like that, but I can on occasion. Bluegills have a very piranha-like shape and bit of an attitude-like one probably too. If they had real teeth, that you probably wouldn't want to go into ponds that they were in. But they're, other than their spines, nothing's gonna hurt you on them. They do have a few spines that can be annoying. See back here, that's a painting I did of my dog Deuce a little while ago. That was a fun one. I tried to keep it as loose as I could, not put too much detail, and just kind of quick did it. It actually turned out pretty well. I haven't done one for anybody like that. It's really, usually put in a little more detail, a little more time than what that took. But one's also on a, usually I'm on canvas or paper. This one's actually a piece of, it's a board plank that it actually worked pretty well. I have to get some more of that, try that. I'm gonna build a frame for it. I haven't got that done yet, obviously. He's 11 years old now, so like he's definitely got the gray like that. Sometime we'll have to start streaming on this and do a live stream, see if I can handle that. Might be a little different having people actually comment. Like I'd probably get like one, so it probably wouldn't be that difficult to handle. If you'd like to leave some feedback, tell me if you like just hearing somebody ramble about their problems. Like to hear, if somebody has something they want me to discuss. Leave a comment. Hey, if you don't like it, even tell me that. I can take it. Believe me, I've been told worse things than, hey, your video stinks. I mean, I got plenty of issues to talk about. That's one thing. Been trying to deal with some of them. Hope I am. One of the great things about like the bluegills, the colors on them, they really do have. I mean, they have a bluegill, which is almost black. It's so dark blue. Then they have oranges in the chest area, and the greens, and even sometimes pinks and yellows in the sides. They have a blue coming down here that just is a really neat kind of dirty sky blue at times, and it's a neat color. They can have it go through in different places. They're really pretty fish. Really, all the sunfish in North America are quite pretty fish. There's some that are the orange spotted sunfish is one of the most beautiful fish you'll ever see. There's some like the long ears and the shell crackers, whatever. A lot of them they have different names for the same fish in different areas, and but yeah, they can be very pretty fish. Pumpkin seeds are very pretty fish. We actually have quite a few really beautiful fish in North America. A lot of people just don't see them. They aren't something that can be kept as, in most places as a pet, in tanks. There are some places you can do a few. I'd like to have a native tank set up. I have some goldfish and platies. Goldfish just got moved outside to something out there, but yeah, there's a lot of different fish like the oh, even some of the minnows can be quite pretty, and people don't think of them, but this time of year now in this spring, early summer time frame, they're starting to they're in their spawn, and some of them there's like rainbow shiners, different kinds of shiners that really are quite pretty fish, colorful. Even some types of chubs and stuff get quite good looking, and even if it's just for a short time, you don't have to have all these exotic, weird things go all over the world to find, you know, crazy looking fish. We do have some nearby. I like to encourage people to go out and enjoy nature. It helps with some of the problems too that we have, and lets you calm down and kind of forget about some of your issues, but also maybe not really forget about them, but see how they relate to everything else. And I still have the issue of thinking some of my issues are bigger than what they are. There's things I need to deal with, but it's you got to remember it's you know one day at a time, and that they probably aren't as bad off as you think you are, but But that doesn't mean that you don't need to deal with things and get well and yeah, kind of a distraction, but not, it's not something just to forget about everything. That's what so many people just say, oh, I go out to, you know, forget about work, forget about family, forget about this, I got this problem. I need to go out in nature just to forget about it. That's not, I go out in nature and I paint, I do this to be more part of it than to be, than to forget about it. I want to be part of something. Even gardening, I want to be part of my quest for food and stuff. I want to know where it came from. I'm not just sitting out there not thinking about things. I'm thinking about a lot of the same things I think about, even now talking, that this is what goes through my head a lot of times while I'm painting or sketching. It just isn't a blank, you know. I think you're kind of doing yourself a disservice if you're just trying to get freedom from things for a while. You're not gonna. They're gonna be there. And for a long time, I thought I could do that. So I'm not. This is kind of a pot calling the kettle black. That you know, I used to be really bad about just figuring. I just didn't think about something and go away. That doesn't happen. I have found that out now. It's best to think about it, deal with it. Yeah, I even just with the RA, rheumatoid arthritis. It's like, I had the pains for about a year before I really got into a doctor and said anything about it. And at first, I'm kind of, well, it's just a little sore. It's nothing too bad. So they just check for, arthritis in my shoulder. Could see a little, so they give you a little medication that, you can take every once in a while if you need to get rid of pain. And that worked for a while, but like a lot of things, unless you actually deal with the main issue. And that's when I finally said, it's worse than what this medication can do, and something else is up. And I've done that with a couple other things that I'm dealing with that sometime we'll talk about. Sure, they'll come up, but it's just, you gotta kind of bite the bullet and just, you know deal with it. Not the simplest thing to decide one day, believe me. This is going to be pretty much the size, I think, of my watercolor too. This ends up but yeah, this is a 9 by 12 pad. Yep, I think that's what I'll go for size of that. Getting kind of to where I want. I'll end up looking at this in a day or two and probably resketching it because it won't look quite like I want it to. Or at least I'll change a few lines here and there. I'm going to show you a few of my. I haven't done watercolor for a while. Oh, but I used to quite a bit. I was under the mistaken impression that watercolor was actually easier when I was first starting out. There's a catfish that I did. Yeah, I thought, oh, watercolor, it's like when you were a kid and you just did watercolors and they were so easy and you can just paint quick and let them dry and they're done and it's all right away and all this. And the colors you have to start with and leaving whites, I mean, there's no white paint on this. Yet there are white highlights up in here. You got to leave them off from the very beginning. That's just paper showing you. It's, yeah. Yeah, that was a steelhead trout or rainbow trout. Sea run rainbow. Steelhead. Yeah, cutthroat. These mostly I did back, 10, 11 years ago. Largemouth bass. A couple more up here. Couple of salmon. Yeah, all the white stuff and then the lighter colors you do first and leave them. Brown trout. I like brown trout. They got neat colors in them. Big fat yellow perch. Yeah. I've done quite a few bluegills. I don't have any of those paintings anymore. I don't know if I put them over in a different spot. Well, I think that's all the farther I'm going to sketch today on this. Just want y'all to know that it's a wonderful world out there. Thank you for watching.